Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we had a pretty fun looking drawing here using our whisper lines, German whisper lines. And by the title, Snake Egg Sudoku, it's quite apt because this clearly looks like a snake. This is by Oddlyeven. Let's get into the rule sets of this one because it looks like this is going to be a fun Sudoku to solve. So we have normal Sudoku rules apply. So place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. We've got dots or Kropki dots, digits on a black dot or a 1:2 ratio. So whatever this we've got 3 black dots here, clearly. These are the eyes of the snake. Whatever this digit is half or double of that other one, and that would continue along the line there. Then we've got whispers or German whispers, to be more specific. Adjacent digits on the green line differ by at least 5. So whatever this digit is, this one is 5 higher or 5 lower. And of course, those must adhere to our normal Sudoku rules. And we've also got circles. I did one recently that used this as part of its rule sets. I think they're called counting circles. Is there maybe the more official? I don't know if that's correct or not, but the more descriptive version of what these are. But anyway, they are a digit in a circle counts how many of that digit appears in circles. So whatever these are, let's say this is a 2, that means 2 of these would have a 2 in it. That's the concept between the circles puzzle rule set. Anyway, so those are the rules for Snake Egg Sudoku by Oddlyeven. Let's get in on this one, and let's have some fun. So the first thing I see, well, there's a couple of things I see, but I'm going to start with our German whisper because I just happened to notice it in combination with our counting circles. A few things about German whispers. I'm sure most of you know this already, but for anyone who is just coming on and learning Sudoku, at least try to give you some information so you may understand it slightly better. But on German whispers, we end up having a situation where you can't put a 5 on a German whisper first off, because if you put a 5 on a German whisper, the only digits that are either 5 higher or 5 lower would be 0 or 10, or lower or even higher than those, and none of those work on for the normal Sudoku rules. Therefore, we can never put a 5 on any of these. In congruity with our counting circles, we can never put a 5 on the counting circles in this specific puzzle because there's only 4 of them. So therefore, none of these digits could ever have a 5 on it. So this one has to be a 5. Now, can we use that? We can, and we could have used something very similar on this one without even having this 5 here. Another place we can't ever put a 5 is on a black Kropki dot, because if you put a 5, you have to put either a 2.5 or a 10 on the other side of that black Kropki dot, which obviously doesn't ever work. And combine that with our German whispers, none of these can be 5, so therefore this is 5. And that's just going to say we have a 5 in one of these two. Now, is there anything further we could do with those? Well, we can say there has to be a 5 down here somewhere. And that seems to be about as far as this is going to go at the moment. Now let's look back. Well, let's look at our Kropki dots real quickly. Because when we go into black Kropki dots, there's only certain values you can use. We already stated that you can't put a 5 on here. Described why that was the case. You also can't put 7 or 9 on a black Kropki dot for the exact same reasons. You can't have or double 7 or 9 and have a valid Sudoku rule. So the only digits that you can put on Kropki dots are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Now, 3 and 6 are unique because they can only work together in single pairs, because clearly you can't put anything else with a 3 or a 6. If you put a 3 on one of these, you have to put a 6 here. Then what do you put here? It would have to be another 3, but that breaks the puzzle. Same goes for 6s. Clearly, you'd have to put a 3 here, and then what you put here. You can't put a 12. You can't put, a 1.5 or anything like that. So in this specific instance where we have these 3 black Kropki dots lined up, we can only do 1, 2, 4, 8. And we can also reduce the possibility of this middle cell, because you can never put a 1 or an 8 in the middle cell, because you'd have to repeat digits on either side of it. So we can get that out of there. Now, I was hoping this might start giving us some info to roll with on our German whisper, because it's a very large German whisper. It appears that, yeah, they're all connected. So this is one singular line, essentially. The other thing about German whispers, other than you can't have a 5 on it, is that they not rotate, but they go back and forth between high and low digits. Because if you have a low digit on a on a German whisper, the next digit has to be high, so it's got to be 5 away from low digits. Therefore, it goes back up to the high, then has to come back down low, high, low, high, low, high. So if you figure out anywhere on I keep trying to say black Kropki dot, on a German whispers that is either low or high, you therefore know what the pattern is along that line, because you can just take every other cell and say that is the same parity. Is it parity, odd and even, polarity, higher, low, polarity, I think is the right one again. I don't know why I can never remember that, get that straight in my brain, but every other one would either be high or low, is what I'm trying to say. In this case, we don't have that situation because I don't know if it's low or high. But what I can do after I stop, babbling on about things you probably already know, is that I can't put a 4 here on a German whisper. And why would that be? Because you have to have a digit 5 away from 4. The only digit 5 away from 4 is a 9. So therefore, if I put a 4 here, both of these would be 9 and break the puzzle. Now, that almost gets us down to something, but not quite. I guess what we can say is this can't be a 1 now. Because if this was a 1, it would have to be 1, 2, 4, and we remove the 4, so we can get rid of our 1 over there. Now, can we look at, I was going to do something else on our German whispers. I think I'm going to skip it for just a second, because it's not going to quite give me what I want, I don't think. But I'll come back to it in a second. Let's move on to our counting circles. There's only 4 of them. So therefore, we must have either, well, I guess you never can put a 2 on this specific counting circles puzzle. Because if you put a 2, you therefore know you have to have 2 of them. So that takes away 2. So now you have 2 left over. You can't put 1 and 1, because then one of those, that means there's 2 1s, so that just doesn't work. And there's no other way to break up the 1 and 1. You can't put a 2 and a 0 or something like that, because then, it just doesn't work at all. So we can get rid of the 2 here. Now, you cannot necessarily say that these are all a 4, or there's a combination of a 1 and a 3. It doesn't appear that will work. So, what would be the best? I guess we have to go back to our German whispers. It's so pervasive in this puzzle. We have the other, okay, so the other things, I already talked about the 4, the 9. The other very constrained digit on a German whispers line is a 6, because a 6 can only be paired up with a 1. So if I were to put if I were to put a 6 here, I'd have to put a 1 in either one of these two. Say if I put a 6 here, I'd have to put a 1 in all 3 of these, those sorts of things. So we can rule out locations of 6s. And because we know there's no 6 on this black Kropki, that's going to help us. So we have no 6s in any of these, so one of these must be a 6. If this is a 6, that forces a 1 in both of these, which is perfectly fine. There's a 6 here that forces a 1 here. Okay. Now, we can't do the same with the 4 because we cannot rule the 4 out of our Kropki dots that are not on our German whispers. Now, can I say that there can never be a 7? Is that possible? No, I don't think it is. And what I was trying to think of is, if I were to put a 7 here, let's say, well, the 2 digits next to it have to be 1 and 2. 3 and 4 don't work with a 7 on a black Kropki, or on a German whisper. So if this was 7, this would have to be either 1 or 2. But it couldn't be 1, because you'd have to do 1, 2, 4 here, and therefore you have nothing to put here. But you could put a 7 here and have this be a 2. The 1 could go up here, and this could be 4, 8, and that would work. So I can't rule out the 7 as much as I would like to do so. The other... there's not much else that I don't think there is much else I can look at there, unless I can use this 6 in some other fashion. So I can remove 6 from all of these, from here, from here, from here, but not from there. So that doesn't really do a whole lot for me. And in these other regions, I mean, I can remove 6s from all of these, but I can't remove it from here, because this could be a 6 and these could be 1, 1 again. Again, not much being removed there, and I can't do much in these other ones either. It doesn't look like off looking at this. So we now have to figure out where the heck... Well, let me look at this. These 6s, are these on the same grouping of lines? They are not. So I can't say these are high or low, per se. So is there anything else I can use to help me determine the high and low setup of this line? Well, actually, I can rule out 4s from all of this, can't I? Because if I put a 4 not on the Kropki dot, that would mean there could never be a 4 on here. And therefore I can't do, I can't do 1, 2, 8. That just doesn't work, because the 1, then the 2, but then you jump to an 8. So these have to be, there has to be a 4 in one of those, okay. So there's no 4s around here, but again, now, no, that doesn't do much, does it? I think I can say that you can't put a 7 here, because that will remove 1 and 2 from both of these. But other than that, again, it's not great. Can I say I have to have a 2 on here as well? I believe I can. Same reason that you must have a 4, you must have a 2. So we know there's a 2 and a 4 on here somewhere. Is there any way I can rule out some of these other options? 2, 4, 8 works, 1, 2, 4 works. 2, 4, 8 this way works, 8, 4, 2 works in both directions. So the answer seems to be no. Okay. Okay, let's do a quick coloring situation. Because at the end of the day, we do know, wrong button. We know that we have 3 highs and, well, I don't know which one's high, which one's low. We have 3 of 1. Either their 3 highs are purples or the 3 highs are blue. I don't know that, but we know that these are the situations that we are faced with, and we might be able to do something similar with coloring in some of these other areas, but we'll stick to here because this is where we have the most information. So we know whatever these are, they're either all high or all low. Now, therefore, we know that these have to be, okay, this is going to do it for us. We have to have 4 highs, we have to have 4 lows, and we have to have 5. We already have our 5. We already have 3 of each other kind. So there's 1 high and 1 low in this pair here. Well, there's only one position that a high can go, and it has to go here. So that's going to give us our digits here. Good. That does help us out. Now that we can put our 6 in, because we know now that this is a low digit, this can no longer be a 6, so this has to be 6. And now that we know this is 6, we know this has to be 1, because it's the only digit that can be 1 away from it. This has to be from 7 or 9. This has to just be a 3. And therefore this is, it's either 8 or 9, but we already have an 8, so therefore this is 9, this is 7. Okay, now we've got our highs and lows determined, we can pretty much just put that across the board onto the rest of this German whisper. So let's color everything up that's low. It's going to be every other digit is going to be low. So all of these are purple. All of the rest of them are going to be blue. So let's just color those in. Hopefully not make a mistake in the process. Okay. So now that we know what's high and what's low, we can start looking at possible instances of having all of the highs or all the lows already in a given area. Well, what we can do is remove 1 from here, just as and a 3 from here. In a start, it's not going to give us quite too much, but we're almost down to a point here. But can we follow up with our lows and highs? So we know these are from 2, 3, and 4. We know these are from 8 and 9. That's not too useful. Is there anywhere we have all 4 of one type showing on a column or a row? And it doesn't appear to be. I guess what we can say is all of these are also inherently, low. So that does help us a little bit. I mean, we know that these have to be high because we already have 4 lows and we have a 5, so the rest just have to be high. Now we've got all of our highs. I don't know why I colored it this way because it's completely against what I normally do in lows and highs. That's okay. We'll run with it. I usually do low as being something cool looking because it just feels low. That may have absolutely no valid reason to do it that way, other than the fact that that's what I tend to do. But so we have all of the highs already. So we have to fit a 5 and some low digits in there. It's not too useful. Is it possible we can reduce where certain low digits go if we put those in? Like this can never be a 4 because both of these would have to be a 9. This can never actually be a 4 either because this would have to be a 9. We've already got a 9 there. So let's get rid of 4. So we get a 1, 3. Okay, so there we go. We've now determined that all of these have to be a 4. Because if one of them is a 4, they're all 4 because they have to tell you how many of that digit is in each of the circles. So there we go. Now, where can I put a 4 in this box? Well, it has to go right here. Can I do anything similar here? Not quite. And it's not quite enough there. To give me another 4 yet. But maybe I can take a look again using the 9s to remove possibilities. I'm going to do a quick little that just to get my eyes working properly. We know these can't be either. Okay. Now, if I were to put a 4 on either of these two, the only ones left that are on a German whisper in terms of opportunities. But none of these preclude 4 because you can put a 9 on both sides of both of them. Okay. Now, can we do something similar with, let's say, our 6s? Because again, we can't put a 6 here because both of these would have to be 1. We've got a 6 here looking at this. This can't ever be a 6. Now, this could be, because we can see 1 here and there could be a 1 there. So that doesn't give me a lot of use. Well, we know none of these can be 6. This can't be 6 because that's a 3. That must be the way to just look at it. Let's look at this 3. This has to be either an 8 or a 9 to be 5 away from 3, and there's an 8 there. So let's put a 9 in. And now we can put a 9 here by Sudoku and our coloring of highs and lows. And can we take that any further? Yes, this has to be an 8. We know these are from 2 and 3, but there's not much there to go by at the moment. Now, if this has to be from one of them has to be a 1 on one side and one of them has to be a 3 on the other side. So this has to either be 8 or 9. 7 wouldn't work there because the 3 will always put it out. And we know there's no 7 here anyway, but. So we need to be able to put a low digit here. It can't be 4 or 2, but it could be either 1 or 3. This has to be a low digit as well, but it could just be 2 or 3. And this could be 2 or 3, so that's not super useful. Just trying to find the next place to look, because it doesn't seem like it's going to follow this German whisper, because this digit could be really anything next to a 9. Now, I looked at 6s previously, but there's not much to go on, because this could still be a 6, this could still be a 6. Do we know anything about this digit? It's either 7 or 9. But there's tons that could go on with these two. Except this digit, there's not much I can go with. It's either 6, 7, or 8. And all of them are completely valid. I guess what we do know is one of these has to be 6. Because there's 4 highs already shown. And one of these has to be a 5 now that we've moved the 4 there. And therefore, this is a 5 because we've got these two looking in here and the rest being clouded out. None of these can be 5, so this has to be 5. Let's keep going here then. We have an X-wing on 5s here. And what an X-wing is essentially is we know that one of these has to be a 5 because all of these are ruled out. And we know that one of these is a 5. So if I put a 5 here and a 5 and one here, that removes 5 from all of these. If I put 5 here, that would force a 5 here, and we remove all of these again. So no matter how we put our 5s in these two boxes, all of these are ruled out as being 5s. Now that can't be a 5 because it's not a German whisper, and that's not a 5 because the 5 sees it. So therefore we get a 5 here and a 5 here. Now, can we do anything else? I don't, at least not in terms of 5s. All right, so the 5s have been mostly cleaned up. That's good. Now, I guess I should continue to color to see if that's going to help me. This has to be a high digit. Is there anywhere else we have our totals of highs or lows already given? Don't think so. I can't rule out a 2 from any of these. Can't rule out 3s anywhere. 6s and 7s as well. This box doesn't seem to be doing too much for me. 2 could go anywhere in this box. The 3 has to be in one of these 2. But how much use is that really giving it? So what did I say? This has to be a 1 or a 2, which is not all that helpful. So it just means that this could be a 7 or an 8. it can't be a 6 because this would have to be a 1. So this is 7 or 8. This has to be 1 or 2. I guess I should start typing these things in so I can see what the options are across our lines. And can we go further? This has to be from 1, 2, or 3. I don't want to put 3 options in there. We said this has to be from 2 and 3. So this is from 2 and 3. That's a 7. It doesn't do anything with this at all. This could still be 1 or 2. Now, is there anything we can do further with 6s and 9s now that we've got a little bit more purchase on this in terms of where they can go? Looking at 6s first. I don't really think so. I mean, none of those could be 6 just because, same with here. That can't be, that can't be, that can't be, that can't be, that can't be. This, and this can't be. We ruled out these and these. So one of these is a 6. So we were able to rule out 6s here because of the coloring, which means that none of these can be 6, which means one of these 2 is. Again, it's not the greatest of information. We ended up having a 6 down. No, did we say one of those had to be a 6? No, is that one right there? Can't be now because of this 6 here. So none of these are 6s, which means one of these is a 6, which means that's the 6. That's not a 6. Okay. Now, that didn't really help us too much because that 6 right there would have been able to give us some more information, but it doesn't. Now, I can't rule out a 7 here. Because this could be 1, 2. This is either 7 or 8. This has to be a high digit. So let's mark that up because we've already got our 4 lows and our 5. Here we don't quite know. We know we have a high digit, a 5, and a low digit in here. So all of our high digits and the 5 are done and taken care of. So therefore these both have to be low. So that's all of our lows. So this has to be high. Now we have all of our highs, so this has to be low, and therefore it cannot be a 6. So here's our 6. Okay. Starting to get somewhere. This has to be from 2 and 3. 2, 7, 9. Okay, can we continue with what these can be? Options are 1, 2, and 3. One of these has to be a 3, which means this has to at least be an 8. But I can't, well, I can rule out 9 from here, but that's not going to be enough. It just means that one of these 2 is a 9. Let's see where else. Looking for color, looking for color. What do I hear? This has to be high. And no, I don't quite have enough of those. And where else? Where else? There's a low in one of these 2 and a high in the other one. Okay, where can a 4 go on this row? I just saw that, finally. Well, it has to be in one of these. Well, it can't be in these 2 because of this 4, and it can't be this one because of that. So this ends up being a 4. And that's going to give us some stuff, which is good because I've been struggling to find something. So therefore, these are both 8s now. And again, that doesn't really give us much to continue with, because the 9s and the 8s are the higher digits, so they're always going to be able to pair with just about anything on the low side. Now we know this is 8, this can't be 9, this can't be 9, so therefore this is 9. We know this has to be 7, so therefore this is never a 3, that's a 1-2 pair. Here's our 3. That 9 gives us our 7, this gets our 8, therefore this has to be our 9. Can we do anything with our 1-2s? Not yet, it seems. This is just a 7. So therefore this has to be 1, this has to be 3, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 2. There we go. This has to be from 5 and 3, so let's put those in. I don't know. I don't have anything else I can color just yet, and I'm not sure if coloring is going to continue to be too useful, but we'll keep looking and see what happens. These all have to be low, so they have to be from 1, 2, and 4. This can't be 4. This is either 1 or 3, so that actually does create a pair. We have to have a 2 somewhere in this column, so one of these is a 2. We also have to have a 9 somewhere in this column, and it can't be any of these or that, so one of these is a 9. I don't have enough information in terms of the coloring to be able to rule a couple of those out yet, though. Oh, this 3 right here sees this. This is a 1, which gives me a 3, and a 2, and therefore a 3. So let's get rid of some of this marking. Okay, can we go further? This 3 here means this has to be either 8 or 9. We already see the 9 twice, so therefore it's an 8. This has to be from 1 or 2 because it's a low digit. This has to be 6 or 7. And there's nothing quite looking at it yet. So I need to be able to put a 1 and a 7 and a 6 in these digits, or these cells, I should say. Okay. Not seeing anything else there. I mean, there has to be a 2 in one of these. Okay. Let's try to dig through our German whispers a little bit further. 1 or 3, because it can't be 2. And it can't be a 4, because it's by an 8 anyway. And there's a 4 there. And 1 there. These all work. This could be almost anything except, well, 6 or 7 is all it can be. It does see 8 and 9. This has to be a low digit, but it can pretty much be anything. Well, it's got to be 1 or 2. It can't be 4. Put it that way. This can't be 4 either, so it has to be 1 or 2. Okay, there we go. That's our pair I've been looking for. It's a 4 here. These are not 4s. We know these are from 3, 5, and 6. Let's put those in and see what it does. Yep, it gives me a 6 here. These are not 6. And the 3 and the 5 don't work out just yet. We're going to know what these are. They're from 2, 7, and 9. This can't be 7. This can't be 2. This can't be 9. So this, yeah, we already knew that was a high digit. That doesn't mean anything. Okay. Where's the next place to look? These have to be from 6, 7, and 8. This is never 6. Nope, that didn't do me much good. This has to be either 6 or 7, just because of this column. It's the only thing that's left possible. Again, it's not on a German whisper, so it's not giving us a ton of information. This has to be from 6, 7, or 8. It can never be 6, so it's either 7 or 8. Again, not quite enough information. This digit has to be from 1, 2, or 3. We can't rule out a 3 because these could both be 8s. And we don't have anything looking at it to rule out options. Okay. So it looks like we've gone through the vast majority of our German whispers to this point that we can do. So maybe we just need to start looking at Sudoku, because there may be something that I haven't seen because I just have not been focusing on it whatsoever. The ones don't appear to be too useful. We already knew there had to be a 2 up here somewhere. And we know there's a 2 over here somewhere. And over here. So again, not useful. 3s. I'm not seeing much there. 4. We got quite a bit of 4s. Maybe that's okay. So we do have a 4 here. Those are all of our 4s. Okay, so that was one left over, which is good. 5s, we don't have enough yet to get anything further. We know one of these 2 is a 6 because this 6 looks into here, which removes all of these from 6. That just means this is a 6, or one of those 2 is a 6. That didn't give us a whole lot. We know one of these is a 6, one of these is a 6, and I think one of these 3 is a 6. Again, that's not enough. Oh, it's 7s. Oh, that's 7. There we go. I just didn't see it. That's why sometimes it's good just to look at our Sudoku, or just our given, our basic Sudokus, and when we don't quite see a correlation, we can pull something up. So this becomes 8. Is that all that did? Maybe it continues with the 8s now. Well, it doesn't really, does it? All it means is one of these is an 8. How about 9s? That'd be a no. Interesting. Okay. So maybe we do have to continue with our German whisper to figure out what's what. Let's color this one in because we know it has to be this. Let's go back to our coloring to see what's left over. So we've got all of our low digit. We have a fuss. This has to be a high digit. Excuse me. This has to be a low digit. So this is a 1-2 pair. This is a 6-7 pair. Okay, so that is going to give us a digit right here. This has to now be a 1. And therefore we'll get a 3, a 9, a 2, and a 7. That 2 is going to give us a 1 in our 2, and that's going to give us a 3, even though there was a 1-2 pair here already. I could have gotten that. That's okay. That 3 is going to give us our 5 and our 3. So it looks like we are moving quite well now. We know these have to be from 1 and 6. There's a 1 here, so we get 6 and 1, and we're going to fill in our 5. Let's continue with our coloring because we committed to it already, so let's just get it taken care of. These are the highs. Don't want to leave anything out. This has to be, both of these have to be a high digit, and both of these have to be a high digit. So we have to have 6 and 7 up here. There's a 7 right here, so we go 6, 7, 3 and the 5 C down here. So this is 5 and 3, and we'll color 1 and this one. And I think all of our coloring now looks to be done, which is great. All right, so we can finish this now, it looks like. Let's find this digit. It has to be our 9. Ones and 2s, so our lows are pretty much done except for this X-wing. This 3 here is going to see this one. Okay, there we go. This is 8. That's going to give me 8 here. Get rid of the 8. Should do all the 8s then, right? Yeah, okay. Can we go further? This is a 2. Yes, we can. So this gives us a 7 and a 6. And that's probably going to be enough to finish things off. Because yes, it does finish off our 1s and 2s. So therefore we get 1 and 2 here. And then we can plop this one in as a 7. And you've solved the puzzle. There you go. So good puzzle. Snake egg Sudoku. It's hard to see now, but because I put all this coloring in, but the snake was very cute. That's why I started on this one. Good puzzle. It took me a little while to really get into the coloring, which I think is what broke it open for me. Allowed me to see, where we had low digits and high digits, etc., etc. So, Oddlyeven, thank you for the puzzle. Beautifully made. I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help me out. It does greatly. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.